Hello everyone and welcome back. Welcome back to Cupid Parasite. If you're new to this channel, my name is Rael and we are going down Cupid Parasite, the first disc, not the fan disc. And we're in Shelby Snail's route, which is the second route of the series. And this is the fourth episode, I think. Anyway. So the two of them definitely got a little bit closer, I would say, in the last one. Even if they were playing around and not taking it completely serious, they're starting to be more aware of each other, and it's getting kind of awkward for them because they are boss and subordinate. So I am curious on how the relationship goes after this, how work is going to be. I wonder if this is Cupid's food challenge. The next morning is directly the next morning. How are you guys going to act around each other? I woke up and surprisingly, Mr. Snell hadn't already woken up before me. The poor man was probably couldn't get any sleep last night with your smell over his bed. That's unusual. He usually goes to sleep after me and wakes up before I do. He's what some people call a short sleeper. To be honest, I was worried that he wasn't getting enough sleep, but knowing that he couldn't sleep like this, I felt relieved. Knowing that he could sleep like this, I felt relieved. Yesterday was really tough. There was an intruder that didn't show up in security footage. We heard them taking photos and they managed to escape. What was the intruder looking for? Was it someone that suspected that Mr. Snell might actually be single? I recalled the magazine photo caption, President of Cupid Corp a fraud, devoted husband, or a big fat liar. He said that he was being spied on for a while. He must have been photographed even before I came here. Maybe they're hounding him so they could write an article like, close coverage, no hint of wife or devoted husband president. If they were with a magazine that did want to write an article like that, we were able to block them. But if they've never seen him with a woman before, they could have taken photos of our silhouette show out of surprise. We couldn't let our guard down just yet. Whoever it was, they were looking for proof that Mr. Snail was single. If that's their plan, then I've got something I can do. I intended to do everything in my power to hinder their plans. Thinking that, I looked out the window. The weather was really amazing, and it helped me to come up with a new plan. All right. I grinned and went to the bedroom to execute my idea. What are you going to do? Oh, she's gonna make breakfast today. After taking care of that, I headed to the kitchen to make breakfast. Okay, tell us what it is. What should I make? Looks like Mr. Snell still isn't up yet. Maybe he didn't get much sleep last night. I wonder why. After what had happened, he might have been thinking about how to update security, and on top of that...
金か地位か何が目的なんだお前にとって大切なのは一体何だなぜそこまで頑張れるのか教えてくれ
He wants to understand you. Mr. Snell was really backed into a corner there. He looked so worried and seemed desperate for an answer. The phone call kind of threw things off, but what could I have said? It's worth doing, but I also want to prove my dad wrong. But if I told him that, I'd have to admit that I'm Cupid. I'm a realist, and Mr. Snell would never believe that. As I made breakfast, I decided I'd have to come up with a convincing answer. I heard movement from the bedroom. Oh, is he awake? Breakfast was nearly done, so it was good timing. I put the scrambled eggs on a plate as I heard the door swing open. Oh. What is wrong with him?
Oi, お前
What? Oh, good morning. Did you sleep well?
下着を外に干すのかお前は
Of course you would do something like that. I don't want to see your underwear. Mr. Snell pointed to the yard, his face bright red. I had in fact hung up my underwear there to dry. So you noticed, huh? This was the plan I'd come up with earlier. I decided to make the house look like it really had a wife living in it. Normally folks use the dryer for their underwear, but some people with yards that don't face the road hang them out to dry. But this is like a really posh house. Like they would have a really good dryer. You don't have to hang it outside like you don't have electricity. So it wouldn't be weird to have underwear drying in the sun when the weather is so nice. Don't worry, it's just a ruse. I hung them all out there in case the person from yesterday comes back. If there is someone that's stalking around your place taking photos, we'll show them your wife actually exists. So I'm presenting it in a way that makes it obvious the family lives here.
だからってお前の下着をあいつらに見せるのか。せめてハンカチにしてくれ。
He's a handkerchief. I know, it doesn't have to be underwear. It could be like a dress. It could be pink shirts. Anyway. What's wrong with underwear?
目のやり場に困るだろう。
I know, now he's going to start imagining you in said underwear. It's just now glared at me. The wrinkle between his brows seemed 5 times deeper than usual. Huh? Should I really not have used my underwear? Back in the share house, I had Gil wash them for me, so I didn't think it was bad or anything. Gil. He probably enjoyed that. How that Mr. Snell wouldn't care about these things either. He always seems so uninterested in anything besides work. Alright, I'll switch it later to my handkerchief or stockings or something.
ストッキングも勘弁してくれ。
No stockings. They only go on your legs. Chill out, man. Not even stockings? Oh well. Alright, I'll just use the handkerchiefs. Oh, by the way, I also made breakfast. Are you hungry?
おう、今日はお前が作ってくれたのか。そうか。
It's just now glanced at his watch. He woke up later than usual, so maybe he doesn't have any time. If you're short on time, there are the jelly drinks you always have in the fridge.
いや、せっかくだ。食べていく。
Well, at least you're being a gentleman about it. After thinking about it for a moment longer, he confirmed his decision. I'm sure he was weighing the benefits of going to work, but he chose breakfast, knowing that I couldn't help but smile. Alright, I'll bring it right over. I brought him the freshly made breakfast and sat across from him. Let's eat.
いただきます。
Well, at least he doesn't have to worry about what happened last night. He's got other problems now. If he was thinking about last night at all, you've completely filled them with other things. After taking a bite, Mr. Snail looked surprised.
うまいな。
He mumbled to himself as he continued to eat. It was only a single sentence, but I couldn't stop smiling ear to ear. I felt like it was really from the heart. We ate in silence as I stole quick glances to gauge his reaction. He was focused on eating. Last night he looked so worried about everything. Yesterday he asked me why I was so focused on my work as an advisor, so maybe I'll bring that up again. I never seen him get so serious, so I didn't want to leave things vague or unsettled. Shelby, you asked me yesterday why I was so passionate about being an advisor. Mr. Snell's shoulders twitched suddenly. He immediately stopped eating. He leaned in to listen, showing that he really wanted to know. I continued on. It really does mean a lot to me. Ever since college, I've loved bringing people together, even if they do get annoyed at me sometimes. Even now, my friend would call me the Cupid Parasite. Well, maybe not so much these days, but still. But that's not all. Mr. Snell stared at me in silence. He was waiting for me to keep going. The other reason is to prove my father wrong.
お前の父親。
Saying that in front of Mr. Snell would seem too childish. I'm not used to talking like this, so it felt off to me. Yes, my father rejected everything that I wanted to do. He said that I would never be able to accomplish what I wanted. I had a dream of learning romantic psychology and bringing people together, but all he could do was look down on me. That's why I wanted to become the #1 bridal advisor at Cupid Corp to prove him wrong. I wonder if this father thing is going to strike a chord with him. That's also the why I left home. That's the reason I don't want the company to fall apart.
そうだったのか。
I left out the fact that Dad was a god, of course, but just now sighed deeply after I finished.
なるほどな。それがお前が昇格に熱心になっている理由か。
Yes, but of course my top priority is still matching people together. I want everyone to find happiness in marriage.
それはあの企画書を見れば十分わかる。
Mr. Style smiled and glanced at my bag. Part of my project plan was sticking out of it.
あれだけ利用者のことを考えた企画書は見たことがない。見事だと思った。
Thank you.
だが、ようやく合点がいった。役員でもないのになぜここまで会社の行く末に親身になるのかとずっと疑問だったが、縁結びをする場がなくなるから、そして父親に認めさせる前になくすわけにはいかないというわけか。
That's right, so please go ahead and continue to put me to good use, sir. Oh my goodness. That could be taken so many different wrong ways. I hope that would be enough to convince him. He just smiled.
利用という言葉はあまり良くない。どちらかというと共闘だろ
う。Isn't this kind of a team? I mean, isn't a husband and wife a team? I would think so anyway. Oh, you may be right. Let's join together and defeat the enemy.
頼もしいな。
Mr. Snail laughed out loud. It was the first open laughter I've heard from him. I guess even Mr. Snail can laugh like this once in a while. Laughing makes him look younger, especially since his default face is always a serious frown. Default.
それで例の企画の方はどうだ?
I found a public kitchen and recruited the help of a culinary expert. I also hired a designer to come up with a print ad.
順調そうだな。
Yes, Peter is helping too, so I think it can take place as planned. I'd like to host a trial event to check the facilities and plan. I was also hoping to enlist the help of the Parasite 5.
Parasite 5 に?
Yes, they're not members anymore, but they did want to get married at one point. I thought they might cooperate. I couldn't guide those former members into marriage, but I still wanted to bring them on for the event. They're men seeking marriage despite how difficult they are to deal with. They're a good source of feedback, and they can likely join on the day of the event. I had already gotten approval from my manager. The plan was to cleverly ask about their current situations and try to bring them back into our matchmaking service.
なるほど。それはいいかもしれないな。私も様子を見に行くとしよう。
Are you sure? But aren't you already pretty busy?
これも大切な仕事だ。後ほど詳細をメールで送ってくれ。時間を見て行けるよう調整しよ
う。Thank you. If Mr. Snail will help keep an eye on things, that'll be really reassuring. I want some female members, so I'll ask Clarice. Maybe I can invite Melanie since I'm her current advisor. Melanie's search has been difficult. She told me the other day that she didn't have the confidence to go to the cafe. She might be willing if I told her it's just a trial run. Yeah, I'll go ahead and call her later. I wrote her name down on the list of people to invite. Suddenly heard a small snicker.
本当に仕事熱心だな。
Oh, I'm sorry. We were in the middle of breakfast, aren't we?
いや、いい。私もよくやるからな。
Mr. Snail smiled as he pointed to his phone. He was right, of course. We both love to work, so we end up back at it before we even realize it. But recently, all we do is talk like this even when there's no specific purpose. Maybe it's because we call each other by name now. And this morning he even woke up after me. Little by little, I think his prestige parasite site is lightening up. At this rate, he might be able to find someone to marry. As his advisor, I have to keep working hard. I mentally pumped myself up again as I put my notepad in my bag. Then I joined my breakfast with Mr. Snail in a nice relaxed atmosphere. Upon arriving at the office, I started writing my emails to the Parasite 5. I also responded to a question from Melanie and sent her the information for the trial event. On top of that, I started writing a message to Clarice. Didn't she work with you? You could just go out there. A few days later, it was the day of my 5-star challenge, cooking with fire trial run.
久しぶり、連絡ありがとう。また会えて嬉しいよ。
You're so cute.
へえ、いいキッチンじゃん。女の子は？
お疲れ様です。お世話になっております。
こんにちは。アンブロシアやネクタルが作れるって聞いたんだけど、本当？
Ambrosia. Welcome, come right this way. The Parasite 5 had all come. Wait, where's Ryuki? He's part of the 5? I handed them their aprons and cooking instructions, then led them to the kitchen. Melanie had arrived first. She jumped in surprise and hid in the corner. Melanie is really scared. But the whole point of this project is to help shy members have fun, so I come up with ways to help them communicate naturally.
あれ？パラサイト5ってもう一人ぐらいいなかった？
Well, at least someone brought it up. Oh yeah, Ryuki, right? He didn't respond to my email, so maybe he's not coming.
まあいいかもね。女子の方が少ないし。
I know. He would just call them a color and then not speak to them the rest of the night. Yeah, but I did invite a few others too.
素敵なキッチンね。今日はよろしく頼むわ。かわいいキューピッドさん。
Oh, so I guess she meets her in the common route. Well, now we have her mother there. For anyone who's not reading Shelby second, you'll find out who she is in Ryuki's route. But spoilers, it's her mother.
何あのケバい人。
Picked on makeup. I wonder if Ryuki saw her, if she would still be a grade 100 in that getup. I wonder. I'm really curious now. Well, she used to have a different advisor, but I took over for her after the Parasite 5 quit.
あら、あなたは？はじめまして。キューピッドコーポレーション開発部でシステム開発を担当しております。クラリス・ティアと申します。
Clarice introduced herself curtly and quickly, stood behind me as if to hide from Catherine. What's wrong, Clarice?
私あの人苦手。なんか見透かされる感じする。
Huh? I've never seen Clarice act this shy before. She normally gets along with pretty much everyone. But this is all part of matchmaking. I have to work hard so that people who aren't compatible can still enjoy the event. Let's have all the participants gather around. Do you all have your checklists?
はい。
バッチリ持ったぞ。
Peter, when did you get here?
最初からいたぞ。今日がプレと聞いていたからな。手伝いに来た。
Oh no, I just noticed 24 minutes into this recording. My sound is all the way down. I'm sorry. If they're really quiet, I apologize. I just finished recording a Code Relays video and I turned it down because the music is loud while I'm talking. And I forgot to turn it up for my next recording and I just noticed. I looked at my desktop audio and I'm like, it's not normally that quiet. And I'm like, oh, I turned it down. I apologize for that. Peter puffed out his chest, looking proud of himself.
ピーターもいるの？私あの人も苦手なんだけど。帰ろっかな。
Maybe I should go home. Wait, we already have too few women. That'll ruin the balance even more.
でも別に私出会いとかいらないし。
I would just cook. It'd be fine.
じゃあ俺と二人で外に行く？いい夢見させてあげるけど。
It doesn't mean she's, it doesn't mean she's taken. I want to stop hitting on everyone. For now, everyone check the checklist for the dish that you're going to cook.
そういえば知ってる？5000年近く昔の酵母を使ってパン作った人がいるんだって。遺跡から発掘された陶器から酵母を採取したらしくて、俺もそういう料理がしてみたいなって思ったんだ。ほら、古代は神と人間が一緒に暮らしていたとも言われてるでしょ。つまりそれは神もねえ、ちょっとこれ説明してほしいんだけどいいかな？
Wow, Gil is shouting with so much energy. He seems to be really motivated. It's always easier to make progress if there's even one person that's motivated. Feeling relieved, I started to explain how I expect the event to progress. After getting everyone to wash their hands, I called over the culinary expert to start the cooking.
ほらほら皆さん急いで、火が通ってるわよ。
え、嘘？これまだ生じゃない？
その食材は色が変わらないのよ。難易度星5、なめないことね。
はーい、アワハニー。今君恋してない？前よりもずっと綺麗になって見えるけど。
You talking to her? Less talking, more cooking. Watch your fingers or you'll cut yourself. And if you're going to flirt with the other girls.
本当にワイン入れていいのかな？アンブロシアってもっと固形のイメージが。
I'm surprised the president's not showing up for this.
卵落としちゃった。ごめんなさいね。私、箸より重いものを持ったことがなくて。
I'm sure she's never cooked a day in her life.
あら、このリンゴ、なんだか黄金色に見えるわね。懐かしいわ。リンゴは独り占めにするに越したことないのよ。半分に切るなんてもったいない。
すみません、これ押さえててもらえますか？
はい、私でよければ。
I wonder if Melanie likes Owen in this one. Everyone was making a lot of commotion during my 5-star challenge, cooking with fire challenge. I'd say challenge twice. It's actually going well. Owen and Melanie are getting along much better than I expected. Owen is the earnest type, so Melanie shouldn't have a hard time talking to him. I should check to see if Owen is registered as a member. I thought about that as I guided everyone along through their recipes. Actually, I think they started dating in Ryuki's route. No. It was during their fake date, right? No, it wasn't during their fake date. It was during, Ryuki was tailing them because he wanted to see his outfits. That was during Ryuki's route. But I think he took her to the cafe during the common route. Because, I mean, yeah, that's when she became a member during the common route. I don't know if I read that or not. After about an hour, the cooking was finally done. Are we finished? I think we are. Yeah, we're definitely done. I saw completed dishes on the tabletop. Some looked delicious while others would make me hesitate.
ちょっとこの料理作ったの誰ですか？レシピにないものじゃない。
Let me guess. Her mom, Catherine?
ごめんなさい。デザートが欲しいなと思って小麦粉が少し余ってたから。
It was Gil.
それとこれは何？君の飲み物作られてちょうだい。
Alan. Dang it.
ネクタルだよ。でもこのレシピだと違う気がしたから追加でサルサセージンソース入れたんだ。
Please don't add weird stuff to the drinks. And what is that sauce anyway?
まあいいわ。他の料理はちゃんと完成しているもの。さあ、実食までが料理よ。皆さん、手を洗ったら席についてちょうだい。
The culinary expert clapped his hands and guided everyone to the right place. Just then I heard the door open. Mr. President? Oh.
ちゃんと料理できてんじゃん。
Well, you're late, aren't you? Yuki-kun, you made it. She's still calling him Kun.
ここうちの店の近くだし、メールで和食作るって書いてあったから。
But you waited until after the cooking was done to show up. Well, I'm glad you're here. That's right. Would you like to sample our Japanese cuisine?
じゃーん、ヤマタノオロチの尻尾キュロスです。
は？
Oh, did you just come up with that name on the spot?
これ和食でしょ。それで日本の神って言ったらやっぱり有名なのはヤマタノオロチかなって思って。
最終的に殺されるけどね。
ロマンだよね。
調子はどうだ？
There he is. I heard the door open again and Mr. Snail strolled in. Oh, Mr. Snail, thank you for coming. We just finished cooking. Would you like to join us?
いいのか？
ええ、たくさんあるから。一人や二人増えたところで困らないわ。困るのはこの変な飲み物の処理だけ。
俺が飲むよ。
Your agent will get mad at me, so no.
いいからもう食べない？冷めちゃうわ。
Alright, everyone, let's dig in. At my urging, they picked up their utensils and started eating.
わあ、おいしい。
そちらのサラダも美味しいですよ。取りましょうか。
大丈夫です。自分でできます。
私の方が近いですから。
Just give her some. That was the exchange when Owen got a bit of salad for Melanie. I think these two are quite compatible. My Cupid habits took over as I eagerly observed them.
へえ、このグラタンも美味しい。どれも変わった料理でどうなのって思ったけど、意外といけるわね。
うん、アンブロシアがこんな味だなんて思わなかったけど。
ねえ、さっきから気になってたんだけど、そのアンブロシアってこのレシピ表にあるベーコンの燻製のことで合ってる？
Smoked bacon.
っていうか、こんなのが難易度星5なわけ？普通のうどんじゃん。
Hey, I tried making udon noodles. It's not easy.
それをただのうどんとは思わない方がいい。なんといってもこの私が小麦から生地を作ったうどんだからな。
Oh yeah, and I definitely didn't make them from scratch.
まあ実際に切ったのはラブクラフトさんですが。
均一な形にするのって結構難しいよね。
でも楽しかったです。
Even in the midst of everyone enjoying themselves, I heard her faint voice admitting that she was having fun. I'm so glad Melanie enjoyed it. I was worried about what would happen at first, but it seems like people are able to get along with the power of cooking. I can definitely carry this over to the actual event. I was thinking about that as I reached for a bit of a baked gratin. Ow, hot! I carelessly touched the plate that the gratin was on. Sharp pain shot through me and my mind went blank. What the heck? It's so hot! Ow, ow, ow. This wasn't the kind of pain you got from tripping or bumping into something. I never experienced anything like it. Is that your first burn? I didn't know what to do and just started turning left and right. Someone grabbed my arm from the side.
バカ、何してるんだ。早く冷やせ。
Mr. Snow grabbed my arm and forced me to stand up and dragged me to the sink. He turned on the tap and put my hand under the water.
こういう時は迅速に冷やすのが普通だろう。何をやっているんだ。
Well, she's only like 6 years old and human. I'm sorry, I've never felt something this hot before. Is this what it feels like to get burned?
当然だ。なんだお前、やけどしたことないのか。
I haven't. This genuinely was my first experience. I nodded and Mr. Snail sighed.
運のいいやつだな。今まで料理してて何ともなかったのか。
Right. Back in college, Gil did all the cooking. And when I started working, Clarice and I took turns, so I've only really cooked for a little over a year. I guess I really was lucky it had never happened before. By sheer chance, today was the first time.
後になったらどうするんだ。やけど跡はなかなか消えないんだぞ。
Oh, really? I'm sorry. I really didn't know.
やけどに大切なのは迅速な対応。流水でよく冷やすことだ。
I understand, but I think it's starting to cool down.
まだダメだ。
He held my wrist firmly to keep my hand under the cooling water. He doesn't have to grip so hard. I'm not going anywhere. Since I was freaking out earlier, he must have thought he had to keep a close eye on me. I've completely lost his trust. I guess it's my fault for not having a clue about burns. The water continued to splash away on my hand. The icy water is starting to make my hand numb, but I stayed put under Mr. Snail's strong grasp. I hate cooling off my burns because it never goes away once you cool it off. I mean, once you cool the surface off, to me, it feels like the burn goes away faster if I don't cool it off. Because then my skin is just the same temperature and I start feeling it less and less. But if I cool it off immediately, it feels better instantly. But as soon as you pull your hand out, it burns up again. And then it feels like it just takes forever to go away. So I hate cooling it off, even though I know I'm supposed to. If it's like a super bad one, yeah, I'll put it underwater, or get some ice, just carry ice around with me. After a while, he finally let go.
よかった。後にはならなそうだな。
Everyone's just watching you tend to her. Right, thank you.
いや、当然のことをしたまでだ。無事な、
Mr. Snail suddenly froze up. I turned around and everyone was staring at us. Poor Gil. I know, like, the president's being super attentive to this coworker. I mean, no one else was, so someone had to tell her to put it underwater.
仲いいね、二人とも。
But yeah, they were talking pretty casually to each other, no sirs or nothing.
何？二人とも付き合ってるの？
Uh-oh. You can't say that, he's supposed to be married. What?
バカなことを言うな。まさかそんなことあるわけない。
If you react like that, you're just causing people to grow suspicious of you.
そうですよ。社長には愛妻がいますから。
二人が付き合っているなら俺としては嬉しいんだけどな。
Of course it is. I really wish you wouldn't lick your lips when you say stuff like that.
え？あ、そっか。愛妻か。そうだよな。付き合ってるわけないよな。
やけどって結構侮れないから、ちゃんと軟膏も塗っておきなよ。
Yeah, thanks. I've been talking to him the way I'd gotten used to doing, but this time it was in front of a crowd. Since I was so desperate to seem like I was his wife, I guess I gave the impression that we were actually close. And again, I guess it's good if they think we're dating since that was the goal in the first place. Yeah, but whenever his wife was not known to be you, though. The problem being, I let it come out in a situation that wasn't a business dinner. I glanced over and saw Mr. Snell looking at his phone with a deep frown. He seemed as if he was writing a work email, but I'd been around him long enough that it was just his way of avoiding the situation. I'm starting to know what Mr. Snail is actually thinking. He's using it as an excuse to divert his attention. But I'm glad the burn wasn't serious. I should thank Mr. Snail for taking care of it that quickly. The numbness was still there as I touched my other hand and reminding me again of the searing heat from before. It's been 6 years since I came to the human realm, but there are still lots of things I haven't experienced yet. I'm lucky to be surrounded by people willing to teach me. Gil, Claris, all of the Parasite 5, and Mr. Snail, of course. Everyone around me has taught me so many things. Ever since I started living with Mr. Snail, I've learned a whole new set of values. What to do when a man and a woman live together. This is an important experience to have in order to do matchmaking.
リネット、ほら、これでちゃんと冷やして。
This thing Gil burst in with a mountain of ice packs. I don't need that many.
ダメだよ、ちゃんと冷やさなきゃ。
Yeah, but you can only hold so many ice packs to one finger. Oh, Gil, you always take things to the extreme. Is someone getting jealous? Speaking of which, back when we were roommates, Gil always made a huge fuss whenever I got hurt. It was fun back then. I thought about those good times as I applied the packs that Gil had brought. I think I saw some jealousy. That concluded the trial for my 5-star challenge cooking with fire event. All that was left was to present the project to the world at large. That same night, I found myself in Mr. Snail's car. After the event, I returned to the office to do some work. Waiting at the elevator to go home, I ran into Mr. Snail. I'm sorry for having you drive me home while you're still working.
いや、私に付き合って家が遠くなったんだ。たまにはこれぐらい協力させてくれ。
Mr. Snail is so earnest. He may be a workaholic, but he never forgets to be considerate like this.
それより、プレは大成功だったな。実際の発表日が楽しみだ。
Thank you. I was glad to see that Melanie enjoyed it.
お前は本当にうちの会員を大切に思ってくれているんだな。
His voice was soft and kind. I could tell thinking about that really did make him happy. Possibly because he's so passionate about work, Mr. Snail notices more than others when someone puts in the effort. He notices the other employees often and always recognizes them. I have nothing but respect for him. I could tell that he cares for our members too, since I play the role of his wife. In our business dinners, I always hear about what kind of husband and great all-around person he is. Our dinners are usually only with major presidents who are much older. They seem to treat him like he's their son. The prestige parasite. He's a workaholic that fixates on his status but doesn't think that the ends justify the means. He's focused on his work and hard on himself. He's direct and considerate of others. He's the definition of a moral man of character. If it weren't for his secret, he could have easily gotten married. Unfortunately, none of the female members I manage are a good fit for him. Despite my efforts, there are still such things as luck and fate. I don't need to look down from Celestia to see that. But that's why I think matchmaking is so interesting. I touched my necklace and gazed out the car of the window at the night sky. I hope Mr. Snail can find a wife soon. I'd even considered using my Cupid's bow as a last resort. Don't use it. A few minutes later, the car arrived in front of the house.
着いたぞ。
Thank you very much. I did my seatbelt, then turned to Mr. Snail, who was sitting motionless. Are you going to head back to work now?
そうだな。そのつもりだ。
As usual, he's always about work. But I enjoy working just as much, so I couldn't really say anything. You know, Shelby, we never had a dinner together at home, just the two of us. He talked about it before, but ultimately his work made it impossible. I put on the attitude of a sulking wife, but he seemed to stumble over his words, unsure of what to say.
それは。
It's gonna pout at him. If you're always at work, they'll find you out as not devoted as you say. Sorry, I'm just teasing you. I gave him a sidelong glance and grinned at him. His reply was simply to frown once again.
仕事があるんだ。仕方ないだろう。
I know. I love my work too, you know. When you're really on a roll, it can be too much of a hassle to even stop and eat.
ああ、簡易的な食事でも十分に血糖値は上がる。それで仕事に支障も出ないからな。
Right. I know that feeling where he doesn't want to spend time eating. I also know that feeling of wanting to get back to the office. Eating dinner alone is no fun, and making dinner for the sake of someone can be a lot of fun. I guess I let my honest feelings slip out. Food tastes better when you make it and enjoy it together. That's what made me come up with the cooking event in the first place. Of course, it can also be the source of fights, so some caution is definitely required. I know it's too sudden to do it today, but if you can find the right time, would you like to eat dinner together? I looked at Mr. Snail sitting in the driver's seat and he finally looked back at me. His eyes appeared to be different from normal. It was as if he was serious and hesitant at the same time. There was even a slight pain in his eyes. The street lights appeared to make them waver. After a moment, he turned off the engine.
そうだな。たまには家で夕飯を食べるか。
Oh, is he gonna not go into work today? You mean it?
ああ。
Oh, so adorable. Just watching him wait and think and waver, and he's like, let's go. He laughed and undid his seatbelt. Apparently that once in a while meant tonight. For some reason, it made me really happy. I know, right? Then you'll let me make you dinner tonight.
いや、私が作ろう。またやけどをされてはたまらないからな。
No, you don't want to burn. That's right. Today was also the day he'd see me get burned for the first time. Then how about we make it together? You weren't there for the actual cooking today after all.
わかった。先ほどのやけどのところは痛まないか？
Not at all. Thanks to you, it doesn't hurt one bit.
ならよかった。
I'm just waiting for some kind of news feed of her getting in and out of his car for like the last month. We got out of the car and headed inside. I felt like saying home sweet home. It really did feel like this was my home now. That feeling is probably what made me want to eat together with him. Austin thought I followed Mr. Snail into the house. Well, this section is called Food is the Spice of Love, and you get to cook with Shelby. After that, we made dinner together. We took our time and also enjoyed dinner in a relaxed mood. It was different from the breakfast and the business meals. It was like a proper alone time that we got to have together. The orange hue of the lights shone gently on the food. The freshly made dinner was still hot. We talked about unimportant topics as we ate dinner.
たまにはこういうのも悪くないな。
I told you, eating dinner at home could be very relaxing.
ああ、外で食べるのとはだいぶ違う。知らなかったな。
He seemed to be completely relaxed as he sipped on his post-meal coffee. Are you sure you don't want anything stronger?
いや、いい。この後運転するからな。
Going to work after dinner. Apparently he still intended to head back to the office. Speaking of which, Shelby, I've rarely seen you drink. Even at business dinners, you only have a few sips. Do you not like alcohol?
いや、そんなことはない。たまに一人で飲むしな。
I was expecting to be the dinner cooking a much more elaborate thing, but I guess it's already over. Oh really? Even then I've never seen you drink.
飲むのは大抵バーでだ。家では飲まない。
So that's why. I imagined Mr. Snail drinking alone at a dark bar and it definitely fit his image. Well, if you ever need some company, you can always call me.
ありがとう。覚えておく。
Despite his response, I doubted he would ever actually call me. He probably likes drinking alone because it's easier. but it sounds like he does relax when he's by himself. I thought maybe he didn't drink because it interfered with his work or something. He didn't spend any time eating after all. But he does know how to relax in his own way, knowing that brought a smile to my face. He's also been getting more sleep than usual lately. That's reassuring too. Before he averaged maybe 3 hours of sleep a night, but recently I've caught him sleeping for up to 6 whole hours. Because I live with him, I might be matching my daily life rhythm to an extent. He might be matching. Speaking of which, the rhythm when living with Gil and Clarice, and then just with Clarice, was pretty different. People seem to get influenced by others surprisingly easily. I'd be really happy if Mr. Snail can enjoy his time off for a bit now that I'm here. Then again, we haven't gotten to the point of actually having any time off to enjoy yet. He started enjoying his meals more and sleeping a bit longer. Just that is a huge change for him.
だが、こうして食事をするとやはり眠くなるな。仕事には支障が出そうだ。
Just go to bed early. It's fine. Oh, would you like to go to sleep? I can tuck you in.
まったく、お前は。
He made a wry smile as he deflected my little joke. I was just glad we were able to joke around like that now. I felt like I'd be able to play the role of his wife even better going forward.
ごちそうさま。では、そろそろ戻るか。
Mr. Snail looked at his watch and stood up. Let me walk you to the door. I grabbed the jacket he'd taken off when we got home, then quickly made my way over to him. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, Shelby. It's like your wife seeing you off to work. I handed him his jacket and saw him off like a proper wife. He looked a bit embarrassed as he put the jacket on.
ありがとう。では、行ってくる。
Just a second, let me fix your tie. Yep, you are playing the housewife roll up. It must have gone crooked when he put his jacket on. I reached out to fix it. There, all better. I let go and he silently grabbed my wrist. Oh. Mr. Snail was staring at me for some reason. Whatever he was feeling, his pale eyes didn't reveal a thing. They were a cold blue, like ice or snow. His hand on my wrist was just as cold. The same hands that took care of my burn, the rough hands of a man. His lips quivered a bit, as if he was about to say something. But he didn't. He just let go and turned away from me.
1時には帰るようにする。
I think he really wanted to kiss you then. He held back because you're his employee. Sure, have a nice evening. The door opened and walked out. He opened the door and walked out. I heard his car drive off. I looked down at my hand. It was cold when he grabbed me, but for some reason now it felt hot. Having a hard time restraining himself. It's getting harder. I returned to my office and sat in my chair. I took off my jacket and leaned back. Felt like I was running on empty.
さっきはまずかったな。
He's blushing, even by himself. She handed me my jacket and fixed my tie. It was like she really was my wife. I almost moved in for a kiss at that point. I knew it. But then I remembered at the last moment that this was just part of the job. I managed to stop myself, but it felt too awkward after that. Just leave, get out. This was only a job. She's doing it perfectly because it's her duty. I thought I understood that. She's just being herself. Like, she's not even pretending at this point. She's just like, oh, here's your jacket. Oh wait, this is crooked. But to me, it seemed like she really enjoyed our meal together. Yeah, she's not faking it. She's not pretending.
それですっかり気持ちが緩んだんだ。
That's why I grabbed her hand without thinking. But that's also what caused me to come to my senses. I didn't think I would ever desire someone like that.
できれば 気持ちは知りたくなかったかもしれないな。
He's admitted it. Until now, even on my off hours, everything I did affected my work. Eating was just replenishing energy. Business meals were just places to socialize with clients. But she brought color to my life. She enjoyed eating with me, and the time we spent together was so relaxing. I've never had such a warm sensation at a dinner table. We do eat breakfast together, so I thought it wouldn't be much different, but it was. In the morning, we're both rushing to get ready for work, but a meal at the end of the day is completely different. I never thought it would be something I would be so reluctant to step away from. In the car, Lynette sulked a bit, saying that she wanted to eat together, but then she saw me off to work with a smile. Have a nice evening. The joy I felt hearing someone say that with such trust in their eyes is completely new to me. He's so adorable. It's like the act gave me the reason to come into work. Her smile gives me the energy to push me even further. To be honest, I've never even thought that this was the life I wanted. I didn't desire it, so I didn't know anything about it. But now that I do, I don't want to lose it. Aww. How can I continue this life? All I can think about is how to keep this. How about making it a 2-year contract or increase her pay? Oh my goodness.
違う、そういうことじゃないだろ。
You can actually propose to her. I keep thinking about it in terms of a business owner. I shake my head to rid myself of these thoughts. The rules of business don't always apply to human interaction. I failed those things so many times before now. I also feel guilty for only thinking about how this is affecting me.
そもそも彼女はどう思っているんだろうな。
Ever since that silhouette acting, his perspective has changed about all this. She shook my hand with a smile, saying she's willing to fight alongside me. I think of that smile again now. She's a dependable partner, but I can't help but wonder if she's actually enjoying this life. She plays the role of my wife, but does she find it draining? I want to ask her, but I'm afraid to find out the answer. Aww. I try to be careful to ensure that if she does find someone else that she wants to date or marry, that choice is open to her. But it's too late now. I don't want to lose this life.
彼女を拘束しすぎてはならないとずっと思っていたはずなんだがな。
I thought this would just be an interim solution until I really got married, but I can't do it anymore.
どうしてくれるんだ。
You're not doing much work. I had kept this lifestyle far away from me, especially because I didn't want to worry about it like this.
恋愛感情ほど非合理的なものはない。無駄なことはしたくない。疲れるだけだ。
It's funny, it's an hour into this recording, into this section, with no CG in sight. It's really funny because, like, this is the second section that's been over an hour long, and he has, like, 16 sections to go through. Oh my goodness. It's gonna be so long. But this fixation won't go away. All of my principles seem to be crumbling away.
違う。これは経営者として優秀な社員を失いたくないと思っているだけだ。
With my eyes closed, I try to convince myself of that, but I know I'm just lying to myself about these budding emotions. Either way, it's doomed to fail. I say that as this. Oh, it's not ending yet.
独身の証拠である写真が全然撮れないじゃないか。毎日ラブラブな写真が撮れるばかり。MQ、本当にあやつは独身なのか？
Does that look like Peter? I'm sure it is.
ええ、確かに。ですが、今は彼に協力者がいるようですね。
Co-conspirator.
なんて厄介な。セカムとかいうやつも邪魔だし、独身の証拠探しはもうやめだ。だが、私の力でお前が見つからなかったのだけは良かったとしよう。 おかげで次なる作戦を進められることになったのだからな。
Also, who is this triple O 7? He's got like this axe silhouette in the background. I'm thinking he's a god of something that's in the human world. I don't know why they'd be going after Shelby. Like, if anything, they would probably target Cupid, knowing that she's a god. But I'm trying to think of like what god it could be if it is a god. And the only things that are coming to mind is like her dad, which I don't even know if he had an axe silhouette behind him or not. But whenever he turns to the side, he has like this, I don't know, this bang flipping out on the left. I don't know if he has that either. Of course, he could just be some random person, some random new person.
次の計画を始動させれば確実に息の根を止められるはずだ。それで守備はどうなっている？
はい。例の件ですが、新たな情報を入手いたしました。これで完全にうちが先に進められるでしょう。
New information like who conspirator is.
ほう、でかしたぞ MQ。見ておれキューピッドコーポレーション。今度こそ完璧に叩き潰してやる。
Now that's probably the end of the section. There you go. Although I'm looking forward to this one too. The wedding of Romeo and Julie. I doubt it means the president and her, but it still could be interesting. Also, that would be really quick. They went into a marriage or something right away. The next morning, I had woke up and headed to the living room, but Mr. Snail wasn't there. Huh? There was a note on the table. I took a look and it says, "Sorry, but I'm heading out early today." Mr. Snail is so proper, leaving a note and all. He could just have texted me. I was happy to get a handwritten note though. In that case, I'll just have a nice simple breakfast today. He's probably too embarrassed to be around you right now since he's like falling for you. I got some cereal and milk and headed to the table. I turned on the TV for the first time in a while. I didn't know if I should turn it on when I was with Mr. Snail, so I hadn't been watching it recently.
And so, Romeo Julie Wedding is planning a marriage hunting event as a new service using cooking.
What? Romeo and Julie Wedding? I've never heard of the company by that name, so I focused on the screen. When I saw it, almost made me drop my cereal. So that's the name of their competitor? And they stole her idea? What's going on here? I put down the bowl and jumped up in front of the TV.
Here is Main Street and 2nd Avenue, where the newly opened dating agency, Romeo Julie Wedding, is located. Romeo Julie Wedding is becoming a hot topic, starting with its first year free membership, and more for new members along with other new services. For more about their new services,
no matter how many times I've read them, I don't understand the words on the screen, or more than that, I don't want to understand. Because right there, in bold letters, it said 5-star challenge, cooking with fire. You gotta be able to prove that it's your idea though, right? I went to the office and the company was in an uproar about the news.
ちょっとこれどうすんのよ。今度やるうちの新プランと全く同じ名前じゃない。せっかくお客さんにおすすめする文言を覚えたのに中止？それとも結構？
About that. What should I do? I've been thinking about it all morning. I can't announce it as is anymore. Everything about it is the exact same plan. They'll just say that I stole their idea. But the flyers are done and we finalized the menu too. And I already arranged for the ingredients in kitchen. What should I do? All the effort I put into preparing everything seems totally wasted. I needed to think, but I was still in shock, so I couldn't get my thoughts together.
っていうか、あっちの方が先にサービス開始するのよね。それってもしかして。
I bet you that's why Peter was there.
ああ、そっか。あなたロミジュリウェディングからアイディアパクったんだ。だから出来良かったのね。
Someone needs to punt this woman somewhere. Huh? I would never do that. They turned to argue and saw a look of contempt from the planning department woman from before.
最初から変だと思ってたのよ。企画部の人間でもないのに企画書が通るだなんて。
Oh my goodness.
そういえば結構いい企画だったよね。企画したいなんて話聞いたことなかったからびっくりしたんだけど。
企画の希望もなかったような人があんないい企画すぐに作れるはずないわ。きっとアイディアを盗用したのよ。
Mr. Snail's going to come to her defense because he's going to be like, I saw it in the early stages before it even became a plan. Everyone nearby started to look at me with suspicion. Did she really steal it? Maybe she's been cheating her way to the top all along. She's cute enough. She could definitely have been flirting with the boss all this time. Oh, no. Uh-oh. I could hear them thinking of all those things. I could feel a cold hand gripping my heart. I felt like I was suffocating. I started to feel dizzy and the sounds around me started to fade. I've never cheated or stolen anything. I didn't succeed by sucking up to my boss. I just wanted our members to be happy. I came up with it all by myself.
パクリでズルしてコンペに勝つとか最低。どうせ業績1位なのも何か不正でもしたんでしょ。
Man, that's gonna look really bad when she gets with the president. No,
じゃあなんでロミジュリウェディングの方が先にサービス開始してるのよ。あっちが先に思いついたからでしょ。パクった方が後になるに決まってるじゃない。あなたが彼らのアイディアを取ったのよ。
こいつはそんな卑怯なことをするやつではない。それぐらい同期ならわかるだろ
う。Huh? I looked toward the familiar voice. Mr. Snail was by my side after hearing all the commotion.
社長。
彼女の仕事ぶりを見ていれば、それがズルや不正でないことはわかるはずだ。共に仕事をしているお前たちなら、なおさらだろう。
Mr. Snail. He defended me. He also recognized my work. My eyes felt hot. I wanted to cry, but I made two tight fists and held back those tears. That was not the time for that.
それより社長、ロミジュリウェディングの新プランとうちのが被った件はどうされるんですか？
そうだな。使えるところは利用して新プランとして発表するしかあるまい。先日プレの開催を見てきたが、よくできていた。あれをそのまま発表できないのは残念だが、いくらでもやりようはあるはずだ。準備はどこまで進んでいる？
The ingredients have been ordered. The homepage is done, and we just submitted the final flyer design. The flyer was submitted last night, so they could still be checking the data. They might be able to stop the print if I call them.
そうか。なら今すぐ印刷を止める連絡をしてくれ。
Okay. I nodded and quickly went to call the printer. I explained the situation, and unfortunately they hadn't started printing yet, so they were able to pause the process. We were able to stop the print.
そうか、よかった。彼女には引き続き企画の練り直しをしてもらう。代わりに皆、業務の協力をしてやってくれ。
That includes you, Mrs. Hater.
これは我が社の15周年記念の新商品でもある。社員全員で作り上げた企画といっても過言ではない。どうか力を合わせて乗り越えてほしい。
Mr. Snail looked into each employee's face one by one. Everyone tensed up at his gaze. Mr. Snail is amazing. He was able to change the atmosphere here instantly. No one looks dissatisfied. Now is not the time to worry about what's past. Everyone knows that we have to join together and move forward.
それと、すまないが君、ロミジュリウェディングについて調べておいてくれないか？
なんで企画部の私が？
Go talk back.
実は いくつか先方に企画を盗用されたのではないかと疑惑が一部ですでに出ているそうなんだ。君の立てた企画、婚活ツアーバックパッカー編と酷似した新商品が先方から出るという噂だ。
社長、私が立てた企画を知っているんですか？
It's his job to know.
当然だろう。我が社の社員が立てた企画は全てに目を通している。とにかくそういうわけでロミジュリーウェディングについて調べてもらいたい。企画部の君にこそ頼みたい仕事だ。
わかりました。
それと最近我が社に向けた根拠のない風評被害も増えた。現在そちらについても調査を頼んでいる。しかし他社がどうであれ我が社の理念は変わらない。運命的な出会いから結婚式まで会員様を君たちの手で幸せに導いてもらいたい。こうした逆境が訪れることはまだあるだろう。だがそんな時こそ皆に団結してもらいたい。頼んだぞ。
はい。
After hearing Mr. Snell's words, everyone gets back to work. Even the colleague that was glaring at me earlier. Mr. Snell is amazing. He looks at every single one of us and is good at raising motivation. I know after his little speech, his cool points just went up 10%. Mr. Snell is a workaholic, the prestige parasite, but there are things only he can do. Even as the prestige parasite, he still cares about his work as president. He cherishes this company. That is why I can't deny him of that title.
では私は戻る。みんな引き続き頼んだ。お前には話がある。ついてこい。
Is it Lynette? Yes. At least he didn't call her by name. He said that in a serious tone, so that made me stand up straight. I was wondering if he was going to get mad at me as I followed him. Mad at you. Also, he has to talk to you in that strict tone.
それで新商品の件だが。
He can't be seen as showing a soft side to you that will just inflame the rumors of you dating him. Right.
そんな泣きそうな顔するな。私も企画の練り直しは一緒に考える。だから大丈夫だ。
Hesitant. Why does she look all love struck? He called me with such a stern voice, but he shows me a gentle gaze like he does at home. For the first time, I realized he couldn't show any kindness in front of everyone. My eyes water out of gratitude. Oh, she's gonna cry.
おい。
Oh. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be crying yet. I have to keep at it. The moment we were alone, I felt so relieved that I couldn't hold the tears back anymore. I really was scared earlier. Everyone suspected me of copying that idea, and I thought I would lose their trust. I wouldn't be able to stay at Cupid Corp. I was dumbfounded because they doubted my efforts until today. I didn't work hard just for some recognition. But I didn't think they would doubt my achievements as cheating. But Mr. Snell came to my aid. He didn't doubt me and even defended me. I felt so relieved then. I'll do my best to revamp the plan. Thank you so much for defending me earlier. I bow and turn around to return to my duties. He grabbed my arm from behind.
そう急ぐな。話があると言っただろ。
He pulled my arm and held my head in his chest. Oh, really? Uh-oh.
それに、あんな奴らに泣き顔を見せるな。泣きたいなら、ここで泣け。
But there's no time to cry.
あんなことがあったんだ。我慢するより、泣いた方がきっといい。お前があんな言われもない言葉を投げかけられるとは思ってもみなかった。正直、私もショックだった。だから しばらくここにいろ。あんな話をされた後では戻りづらいだろう。
But oh, she closed her eyes, just starts crying. I couldn't continue from there. Tears started to flow, and I gripped tightly at the hem of his suit. President, thank you for coming for me.
ああ、私もあの場にいられてよかった。
Mr. Snell hesitantly patted me on the head. The gentle way that he did that caused more tears to flow.
お前は頑張り屋だからな。私から見ればありがたいことだが、同僚からは確かに妬まれることも多いんだろう。出る杭は打たれるというやつだ。だがそれはお前のせいではない。人のつまらない習性のせいだ。私はお前のような社員が我が社にいてくれてよかったと本当に思っている。だからお前には今まで通りでいてもらいたい。お前は変わるな。そのままでいてくれ。
Oh, for me, that's so cute. I couldn't hold back any longer. Mr. Snell's warmth causes me to cry out loud. I tried so hard, but no one acknowledged me. Even so, I wanted to continue matchmaking because I'm Cupid. My instincts and myself as a human were the internal conflict with one another. I had the desire to continue trying hard, but I found out that putting in effort doesn't mean it will be rewarded. No matter how much I care about the customers, not everyone will trust me. That's what pains me the most. But Mr. Snell affirmed my existence. He told me not to change. Why is he always able to tell me what I want to hear most?
今は思い切り泣け。私がそばにいる。
This is just going to reaffirm her feelings for you, President. I'm surprised she didn't call him Shelby. I have to hurry up and stop crying, otherwise I can't move forward. Mr. Snell has work to do and I'm getting in his way. But right now, I made an excuse and clung on to him. He's the kind of person that answers emails while eating, but right now he's by my side. Shelby, why are you so kind to me? There you go. First name. Because we're cooperating, because we're accomplices, because I'm your employee, or... My heart is overflowing with emotion as I continue to cry. Throughout that, he continues to pat me on the head. Is he going to answer? A few minutes later, I had used up a ton of tissues. I'm sorry for making a scene. Thank you so much. Oh, he's not going to answer her.
いや、大丈夫だ。
Mr. Snell smiles and returns to his work desk. Then he opened his computer.
それでは元の企画書を見ながら新プランについて再考しよう。
Thank you, but are you sure? How are you doing on time?
これも仕事のうちだろ。それにロミジュリーウェディングには前から迷惑をかけられている。
I know this affects his company, so of course he's going to make it his priority.
憶測なく疑いたくはなかったが、証拠が出た。調査の結果、私が愛妻家なのは嘘だという記事はロミジュリーウェディングが出していると分かった。
It's funny, it's 1:26 a.m. and it's 1:26 in the recording. Anyway. Huh? Really?
ああ、残念ながら同業他社の仕業だった。我が社を潰したいと思っているのかもしれない。まさしく出る杭は打たれるというやつだ。私の家を探っている相手については未だにわからないが、同じである可能性も高いだろう。だから今回盗作された件は残念だが、これもあちらの計画通りだろう。産業スパイが潜んでいるのかもしれない。
Industrial spy. That sounds familiar. Huh?
産業スパイじゃないといいんですけど。
I thought of Owen's mumblings and my heart jumped, but Peter's a good person. I don't want to doubt him. But if he was, he can freely enter and leave Mr. Snail's office. He could steal anything if he wanted to.
とにかく今回の件はお前のせいではない。むしろ先方の動きを止められなかった私にも責任がある。だから一緒に打開策を考えよう。いいな。
Yes, thank you very much. That's right, my role isn't to find the culprit. It's more important to remake this project.
食材はもう発注したと言っていたな。先日食べた料理に使われたもので合っているか？
Yes, so we can't change the cooking part.
なるほどな。だがそれさえ変えなければ別の料理でも構わないということだ。先日の食材で他にできそうなことは。
Let me check the memos I wrote when I built the project. I took out my phone from my pocket looking for ideas that I had previously thought of. Cat, dog, bird, reading, movies, desserts, cooking. There was a list of popular hashtags from Instagram. I wonder if I can combine them. Cooking and animals. No, it's unsanitary. And they could eat it. That's the worst combination. Cooking and desserts. This is weak. It's just dessert making. There's also cooking and reading. Oh, how about recreating dishes from stories? I mumbled that and noticed Mr. Snail looking up.
ほう、それはロマンチックでいいな。
Really?
なあ、今ある食材を活かせる形で料理を調べてみよ
う。Add romance in your cooking. Mr. Snail searches on his computer for books and cooking. There are lots of articles about famous fairy tales or picture books that recreated food from it. Wow, that looks delicious. Gratin sponge cake stews. There are picture book illustrations that made me feel excited. This is nice. If they see a picture of the bear with the dish, they might feel nostalgic and possibly join in the campaign. Make porridge.
確かにいいかもしれないな。我が社のプランに足りなかったのは内向的な方に向けたサービスだ。今回の難易度星5もそこが評価されていたはずだ。読書ならば根本的なコンセプトは変わらない。それにこの絵本を制作しているのはちょうどうちも世話になっている結婚雑誌を出している出版社と同じだ。この絵をそのまま使えれば強い。どうだ、この絵本の料理再現で食材は全てカバーできそうか？
There's shrimp, bay leaves, apples. Yes, I think this will work. There are some ingredients that are off, but we can use that as part of the side menu for what's not in the book.
なら、ひとまずはこの線で進めるとしようか。デザインはやり直しになるが。
As for that, I'll go send another request to the designer.
そうか。では、時間もあまりないからな。すぐ許可取りするよう広報部に回しておこう。
They're saying that Mr. Snail picks up the phone for the internal line to contact PR.
これでよし。許可取りがうまくいくようひとまず祈ろう。ダメだった時のためにもいくつか案を出しておくか。
Yes. From then on, I drafted more points of discussion. Plans for cooking that will look good on Instagram. Plans of eating these dishes while watching a movie. I called the culinary researcher and explained the situation and the change in plans. An hour and a half later, I received a call from PR and we got the approval from the publisher.
では、ひとまずこの形で進めよう。企画部や各所への連絡はお前の方でできるな。
Yes, of course. I was bawling just earlier, but I already feel much better. You've been in his office for an hour and a half. What are people going to think? My eyes could still be a little swollen, but it should have resolved itself with time.
いい顔つきだな。では、健闘を祈る。
Yeah, I can't go out there with puffy eyes. They're gonna be like, the president made you cry? Yes, thank you, President. Now, if you'll excuse me. I bowed and was about to leave Mr. Sal's office. I then noticed a crumpled up wad of paper in the corner of the room. President, that area is really cluttered, but did something happen?
ああ、それはシュレッダーにかける用の書類入れだな。普段はオーウェンがいっぱいになる前にかけてくれるんだが。相変わらずプライベートが忙しいようだからな。シュレッダーをかける暇がなかったのだろう。
What about Peter?
それが、オーウェンに彼は使えないと言われてな。やめることになった。
What? Really? I thought he said he was really good the other day. I'll shred it for you in his place. It's dangerous to have so much paper on the floor.
いいのか?
Yes, I'll be quick. The papers to be shredded are overflowing, so there could be a chance that some important documents could get mixed up with it. It's better to put it through the shredder regularly to prevent accidents. That's what I learned when I first joined the company. How convenient that as soon as this cooking plan is stolen, that Peter resigns. I crashed down to pick up the documents. After crying and feeling better, I suddenly felt the urge to be playful and read through them. Oh, really? I'm curious what kind of documents Mr. Snail looks at. There could be some useful hints to revamp the plan. That was the hope anyway. Normally I shouldn't be doing this, but at the same time there might not be another chance to do so. It's okay, your coworker with benefits. So maybe there was some rejected plans in there. This is a save file, so we have to save it, unfortunately, and not flip through the documents. And it's save file 4. I'm curious to see what they're going to be, though, when we actually do go through them. So throw it all into the shredder. Wait, I shouldn't be looking at Mr. Snail's documents. I held back my curiosity and desire for mischief and just threw the documents into the shredder. I'll excuse myself now.
あ、お前は今日何時までだ?
I'm on the late shift today, so until 11 p.m.
そうか。ちょうど私も23時頃に帰ろうと思っていたところだ。車のところで待ち合わせよ。
Thank you. He knows that my commute is longer from the company now, so he says that he'll drive me when he has time. But I'm sure he's doing it today out of kindness for me. I was so depressed earlier. The subtle acts of consideration makes my heart feel warm. I bow again and left Mr. Snail's office. That was a really short one. So yeah, that's where we're going to end it here. Obviously, I want to go on and read the rest of it because it's Shelby and I can't get enough of Shelby right now. But the next section doesn't have any choices either, and those have been proving to be over an hour. And I don't know if you guys want to read a 2.5-hour video. I know people only have so much time on their hands that they could dedicate to watching something. So I'm going to keep it short for the sake of viewing. And I mean, we got a really cute CG to use anyway. And the next one's called Shelby's Resolve, so it could have some heavy stuff in it. And I don't want it to overshadow what just happened in this episode. So I'm looking forward to how Shelby goes on from here, since he's starting to care for her and he doesn't want to get rid of this life. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy, drop a thumbs up down below and or subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.